Welcome back to the TVR project, and this is going to be, I suppose, part two of many parts to this project. Now, firstly, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has commented and watched the first video. It's gone down better than I imagined, and there's just so many helpful comments in this section. I haven't had a chance to go through them all yet because I've been away for the bank holiday weekend, but I will be going through them, and well, there's hundreds of helpful comments. So thank you very much for everyone, and yeah, that is going to be very useful going forward, and also just loads of messages on Instagram as well. So really glad that the project's gone well, and everyone is also excited, as much as I am, of getting this thing restored and back on the road. So looking through a few of the comments, it looks like I'm going to have fun trying to even turn the ignition on in this. I don't know if it's an aftermarket alarm or a factory alarm, and I don't even know if the factory alarm is an aftermarket alarm. But anyway, I have an Immobilizer, and the first thing I want to try and do is just try and get the ignition on. To do that, the first thing we need to do is swap out the battery. So I'm going to go to Halfords, get a battery, fit that, and then yeah, that will give us a nice base to try and turn that ignition on using whatever they are. Now, I think I'm actually going to have some issues with this battery. I think it's going to be a bit too tall. I did go for like, so I've gone for an 072, 072. However, I think this battery is going to be too tall. Quick Google tells me that that battery isn't going to fit under this wing here. I was going to go for a slightly smaller battery, but upon looking, the 072, this battery here, is the only one, well, the only one that Halfords sold anyway, that the terminal, positive terminal was top left and the negative terminal was bottom left. Every other battery they sold, it was the other way around. So this is the only battery I could have bought today that was going to fit. So I think it's just going to be a case of, yeah, connecting the battery. Hopefully it fits just for testing purposes, and then I'm probably going to end up having to take that one back and buying a different type battery. Oh, it's actually alright. It's bang on, identical size. So maybe that will actually be fine after all. However, I can fit the terminal on, so that's all that matters at this point. Oh, hello. No, the indicator, the hazards are still going. Right. Alarm works, and it's very loud. Right, so I do have a bit of issues with battery clearance, but that might just be the wiring loom as well. Anyway, got the battery connected, alarm works, it is very loud, and this fob also works as well because I've just pressed it and the alarm stopped. So this is I think a few people have actually pointed this out, a Meta Immobilizer. Again, don't know if that's standard or not. I'm assuming that is the alarm going off. Don't think it's hazards. Now, let's try and get the ignition on. Right, I am starving, so I'm going to grab some lunch, and the beauty of it is I don't even have to leave the workshop, and that is because today's video is sponsored by YFood, and I have my lunch right here. Now, YFood is a meal replacement drink, not to be confused with a shake. They have 26 different vitamins and minerals on, they are glucose-free, they are lactose-free, they are suitable for vegans, and they're great because I can just keep my bottles in the workshop, they don't need to be refrigerated, and they do keep you full for between 3 and 5 hours. Now, there's loads and loads of different flavours to choose from as well. I have Happy Banana today, but I also really like Funky Peanut, Salted Caramel, Chocolate, and there's a few, even hazelnut I really like as well. Now, they don't just come in drinks, you can actually get a powder as well that you can mix yourself, which is slightly cheaper, or if you want a bars, you can have like on-the-go bars as well. Now, if you haven't tried YFood before, guys, I recommend you click the link in my description, takes you over to their website, add the starter kit to your basket, and use my discount code, which is salvage10 at checkout to check them out, guys. And if you have used them before, you know what you're doing, and you can choose the drinks that you like. So a massive thanks to YFood for sponsoring today's video and continuing to support the channel. That works. Alarm's not going off this time. It did start going off a minute ago. I'm going to actually sit in it for the first time. Ah. Oh my god, breaking everything. Oh, that's as far back as the seat goes. Oh, that is not good. Well, I'm really struggling here I can't even turn the ignition on. I've been trying for about an hour with no luck. I don't know if I have a faulty system, so I'm hoping one of you guys can help me out here. I have what I believe to be the M36T alarm system. Judging by pictures on Google, that is what I have with the Immobilizer fobs here. And I think it's been that's a Thatcham 2, and I think it's been upgraded to a Thatcham 1 with an alarm, which was working and now has stopped working for some reason. So let me just shut the door. So that all works fine. Now, for some reason the alarm was working, it's now stopped working. So that should be the door, right, okay, that's the car locked, now not working. Now if we undo it, that should open it. And from what I believe, let me just jump in. From what I believe, you have now around 20 seconds to disarm the alarm by putting this in the Immobilizer fob. However, there should be a light. That should demobilize the Immobilizer and give me ignition. But there should be see, this is the Immobilizer, and there's a little red LED that should flash above there to tell me that it's active or not active. Now that little red LED does not work whatsoever, never has worked. So I don't know if there's a problem with it. Don't know what this does. Oh, now the alarm's working. But absolutely nothing. That red LED does nothing at all. Inserting the fobs into it does nothing. I've tried every procedure that the handbooks have said. I've tried every method of button first, then fob, then key. Then I've done key, button, you name it. I've tried every different variation of trying to turn this ignition on, and I'm just getting nothing at all. So I don't know whether I've got a fault, additional security, or I'm not doing it right. Right, I'm going to leave trying to turn the ignition on for the moment because there's obviously a fault that's not to do with the sequence of starting. So I'll come back to that later in the video once I've probably Googled a bit and found out what I need to do for that. So let's just go around the rest of the car. Now we've got a battery that works to see what other things we can get working. Well, just checking the mileage there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's 49,743. Now, oh, look at that headlining. That's awful, isn't it? Now, I've just checked the last MOT, which was done in December 2009, and this was at 12 and a half years ago? 12 and a half years ago, and it's done about 140 miles since that MOT, so it's done 140 miles in 12 and a half years. Now, moving on, I don't actually need the ignition to do quite a few ancillaries, like the radio doesn't work, but I can get the horn to work, and I can also get some lights, which I found here, which light up my binnacle nicely. And yeah, let's go check those out, see what we've got. Oh, we've got a nice light on there, look. I don't know if that's supposed to be on, but it is. So, hello. Oh, look at that, even got 2 number plate lights. Get in. Got a side light out there. Side light works here though. Let's go down, excuse the mess, haven't tidied up, don't have time. And we have a side light here and a side light here. Are they in different places? No, different, same places. So we have some electrical stuff works, just not the bloody ignition. Now let's go to headlights. Oh, even fuel gauge. Got some lights here. Oh, nice bit of green around there as well. Headlights. I think we even have 2 working headlights. Will it flash? No, it doesn't flash. We have two headlights as well. Or is that just one? No, we've got 2 headlights. Beautiful. Already shown you the windows work, so let's just put those down. So one will do, actually, to be fair. Now we can push it onto the ramp. Well, I just tried to remove the bonnet and I started undoing the bolts and it actually was undoing, but then I realised you have to undo the bracket, and the bolts of the bracket are right under the body and they look rusted as hell, so not too sure how I'm going to access that yet. but I think it's gonna be better if the car's in the air. So I'm just gonna close that for the minute and we'll get the car onto the ramp, get it in the air, and hopefully we can see, I mean, obviously I've never seen one underneath one of these before, so I don't know how much of the chassis I'll be able to see. I'm expecting probably quite a lot, so it'll give us a good indication of the condition. But I'm hoping I'll get it on, lift it up in the air, and it doesn't snap in half. Come on! Grab nice, let it go, let it go. I've just put one ramp leg under, and I can tell you for a fact it is completely screwed already. Right, we're all in position, and now I've just got visions of this snapping in half like the Titanic. I think it's alright. Go away. So I've just bought a new camera and it should have built-in image stabilization. I've just been editing the first half of this video and I was like, why is it so shaky? This is ridiculous. And I've just realized that I have image stabilization turned off. So I've just turned it back on. So hopefully now going forward, the image should be a lot more stable. Right, the underneath, I'm pleased to report it hasn't snapped in half just yet, but I am now just gonna walk under it. First thing I noticed is the exhaust is kind of hanging down one side, which I was kind of aware of anyway, and I don't know why that is. Maybe just a bit of, I mean, the exhaust brackets are hanging off both sides, so it's probably just tweaked a little bit, that's all. It's nothing too major, but yeah, just horrible, everything horrible. Right, looking at the chassis, yeah, I can see quite a lot of it, and it looks, oh, just look at that, it's just horrible. Look at that. Oh god. It looks not as bad as I was expecting, I suppose. I mean, it clearly does need work. It is rusted. I mean, look, you can see where the mountings are for some of the bolts. Are really rusty. Just going down here, it's the corners. Like, see the corner there, rusted. Around there, all rusty. Especially where like the wishbones mount, really rusty around there. But it's not a disaster. I mean, it is going to need, yeah, you can see it's quite rusty around there. Let's just go around it. It's not too bad here. Look, all down there, for example, not too bad. This corner needs a little bit of work. So it's basically like all the corners and the joins. I mean, I don't know what's common on these, if that's just what's common anyway. I don't know if that's standard suspension or not. But you can see it's quite rusty there. The wishbone is rusty, but the mounts on the front, probably been quite lucky if it's had an oil leak. I'll probably save the chassis from too much rust if there's a nice layer of oil all over it, because the front here doesn't look too bad. I mean, yeah, you got the mountings here, look. It's not great there. But up in like the corner here, look, that's all right. That doesn't look too bad. So, yeah, just, I mean, yeah, it's quite perished there actually. It looks like it's gone through. Can't really, it's hard to tell. But yeah, I don't know really what I expected. Don't know if that's broken away or not, or if that's just what it's supposed to be like. But going round, yeah. Yeah, this is the corner I said when I put the jack under it. It was really bad, because I saw that. So that's probably, this is probably the worst section here that I can see. But I don't know if these can be repaired, or you just have to, oh, the auxiliary belt, is that slipped off? Auxiliary belt in there slipped off, look. It don't look great, does it? But it's not completely horrendous. Looking around again. Yeah, so I'm not sure what's common on the chassis on these. I know that it's obviously a common problem, but I'm not sure how bad the common problem usually is. It doesn't look horrendous. It's mostly just around the wishbone mountings, suspension mountings, and like the corners where obviously it goes to the wheel and goes. So there's basically just the corners and the suspension mountings, but everything else looks okay. Now I'm not sure that processes, I don't know if it's easy just to buy a whole new chassis or they can be repaired. I guess that's something I'm about to find out, but I'm pretty confident that the body will have to come off to repair this, which I was expecting anyway. As you can see, I'm not that bothered. So I think doing a full restoration anyway, I'd want to have taken the body off even if it probably didn't need to, just so you can clean up absolutely everything and get everything perfect, because yeah, it's had a lot of mice in here as well, so you have no idea where they've been. So I'd rather just like completely tear it down and rebuild it knowing it is 100%. So yeah, I'm not that bothered that the body needs to come off, because I probably would have wanted to do it anyway. So what I'm going to try and do now is bring it back down to the ground and have a look at the immobilizer issue that we've got, because I've done a little bit of research and I know where the units are, so if we can get to them, maybe we can see if there's an issue. Right, so now back onto the immobilizer. After a little bit of Googling, I also have a red immobilizer light up here as well, which also does do absolutely nothing. Whether I lock the car, unlock it, you name it, doesn't work. So I've found out that the immobilizers, like control units, are in behind here, and I think there's a 10mm nut in the, there we go, 10mm nut. If I undo that, I should better pull this out and yeah, see what we've got in there. Just pull off. Oh. There we go. Let's just get that out. Oh. There's been a lot of mice in here. Right, let's just get in and I'll show you. Right, as you can see, mice have been to town. So there's just absolutely, they've just torn the place up. If I'm honest though, I've only found, well, I have found one wire that's been chewed. So chewed here, and chewed off completely. I don't know where that leads to, but I found my immobilizer, which is at the back here, and it is my M36T2 immobilizer. I don't know if this goes to it, but I'm sure that is an issue nonetheless. So I don't really know where to go from here. I think, let's just get back out. Now, to take the body off, we're gonna have to remove the interior fully, and to get to probably where the mice have eaten all the wires, I'm gonna have to remove the interior. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is just try and take out the front seats, maybe try and get a bit of the rear out just so I can see, because ideally I want to just get the ignition turned on before I start removing the body. I don't know, I just want to make sure it's okay. So yeah, I'm going to do that first, I think. But first of all, I am going to hoover up all the crap that's in here, because there's just lots and lots of crap. So tackling my first piece of interior removal, I'm going for the front driver's seat, and I spent ages trying to find the bolts from the inside, and turns out the bolts are outside, they are underneath the body. So let me just get, well actually the torch is already under there, and surprisingly, if I can, might have to twist, the bolts, I've undone 3 of them out of 4, absolutely fine. So, let's see. So under there, there you go, you can see where the thread is. So I've got 4 of those, 1 in each corner, and I've undone 3 of them, absolutely perfect. The only one that hasn't played ball is that one, oh no, that one there. Now, if I just put my, and you listen to it, and you can hear it where it's turning inside the chassis. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut that one off. And just remember, safety first. There we go. Beautiful. Oh no, I'm stuck. Oh no, I'm stuck. Beautiful. So there's the bonnet bolts that I forgot to have a look at while the car was in the air, but I don't know if you can see that. They are very rusty, and yeah, they definitely ain't gonna come undone. That's it. Right, that's the bonnet all removed. I had to cut it on one of the hinges this side, as you just saw, because it was just completely no-go. So, I mean, they need replacing anyway, so it's not a big deal. So now I'm going to try and remove the intake so we can remove this panel here, which will give us access to the top of the chassis, just to have a look what that looks like. Again, doesn't make any difference now, but we do need to do this anyway to remove the body. So I thought... There's a gauze on the intake, so it's going to be a bit harder for rodents to fit into the engine, which is good. So this exposes our top cover now. Hopefully there's about 8, maybe 10 bolts to undo, and I won't film that, I'll just whip them out, and then yeah, hopefully we can pull this off and have a look at the top part of the chassis. I don't even want to know what's on the underside of this. So with the top cover now exposed, we can have a look at the top of the chassis, and yeah, it's pretty much the same deal down here. The main beams seem to be okay. It's just like the flanges, the additional bits. So like here, corroded. This one, very much corroded here. That bit there looks all right. There is some, like where the top coat's come off here, but it's not horrendous. So yeah, it's pretty much more of the same up here. And there is our engine looking pretty manky, although the throttle bodies look nice and clean. Don't think there's any debris or anything that's been in there or got into the engine by the looks of it. So oh, we have a Land Rover genuine oil filter. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. We've had a look underneath. The chassis is pretty much as bad as I thought it was going to be. I don't know how bad it is, like compared to other chassis. Do let me know in the comments. Is this a bad chassis or is it kind of average? Either way, the body does need to come off for it to be repaired. So in the next video, I guess we're going to start removing the body, and I'm going to start with the interior because I do want to try and just turn the ignition on before. Well, I just want to get the ignition on. So to do that, I'll strip the interior, I'll find out if there's any more broken wires, and try and repair that one that I have find out where that goes, repair that, see if I get ignition, and yeah, then we'll go from there. So it'll be next video, interior out, and then yeah, just follow the steps that I find on Google and you guys helping me, and we'll get this body off. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram at saving_salvage. Right guys, I'll see you in the next one.